The Lowcountry Kettle potato chips, those handcrafted, small batch kettle chips, are South Carolina's first official potato chips. I talk one-on-one with one of the owners of Lowcountry Kettle, Clayton Wynne, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Clayton Wynne, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you and Andrew Trumbo are the co-owners of the Lowcountry Kettle Chips, which is the first official potato chip company here in South Carolina. And of course, your chips, as I'm looking right now, are handcrafted, small batch kettle chips, seasoned with the finest Lowcountry flavors. So tell me, what's new, what's now with Lowcountry Kettle?
Well, our newest addition to our lineup is the Holy City red wine vinegar and sea salt. We rolled that out a little over a year ago, and that one quickly became one of our best sellers. So people have absolutely loved it.
Wow. So what is the biggest difference between this flavor and your other 7 flavors?
Well, we looked at the market of, most popular flavors currently on the market, and we realized that the salt and vinegar is everywhere, and that belongs in our lineup as well. So we wanted to identify, what would make that special and stand out in current oversaturated market. We realized that a red wine vinegar ingredient would be nice and subtle, not overwhelming. We add a little honey powder to the recipe just to balance it out a little bit, and it's the perfect blend.
How is Lowcountry Kettle standing out in this current oversaturated market?
Well, we have a unique ability. Well, we saw a unique opportunity that there wasn't any representation in South Carolina. So when we created the company, we realized that we needed to also not start a chip company, but represent the unique selling flavors as well. So we rolled out our original 4 flavors: Bloody Mary, mustard barbecue, spicy pimento cheese, and fried pickle. We then added a sea salt, and then Carolina Reaper, and like I said, our newest flavor, the Holy City red wine vinegar and sea salt.
Wow. So out of all of those particular flavors, and Clayton, let me ask you this. Which one are the best sellers besides the red wine and vinegar?
Well, sea salt speaks to the masses, so that's a no-brainer. Then the red wine vinegar and sea salt is our second best performer. The mustard barbecue, fried pickle, and spicy pimento cheese also perform very, very well. Very strong southern representation with those flavors. The Carolina Reaper seems a little intimidating, but we wanted to, give a little nod to the creation of the Reaper pepper in South Carolina. But we didn't want to make it a novelty, a one-chip challenge. We wanted you to enjoy it, feel the heat, and want to buy it again. So I think we nailed that one. And then the Bloody Mary is a unique flavor. We took all the ingredients that are in a Bloody Mary mix. Use a spice blend, so I would consider it to taste similar to a ketchup chip meets a Old Bay chip.
Oh, wow. That is amazing. So out of all of those flavors that you have right now, Clayton, which one of those flavors actually turned out to be like a one-time challenge?
The Reaper chip would be probably most similar to a one-chip challenge. If people can't handle the heat, they probably won't buy it again. But for those spice lovers, it's a great addition.
It cleanses your body.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I want to ask you this. How else will the Lowcountry Kettle potato chips represent the South, really?
We've had a lot of people give us suggestions on new flavors. One of them was a boiled peanut flavor. So we haven't gotten in the lab yet and tested out how we might be able to do that, but we've heard a lot of requests for that, so we're considering that one.
Is that feasible?
That's why we need to go to the lab and test it out. There's some wild flavors out there, but I'm sure it can be done. We just need to figure out how to execute that appropriately, if we do.
If we do.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what else are you keeping your eyes on market-wise?
We've had a lot of demand for large format bags, traditionally seen in grocery stores, so we're considering that for a couple select flavors. We see a lot of unique flavors coming out, so we're trying to keep our pulse on what unique flavors would be introduced to the market, especially in like European and Asian markets. They have some wild flavors. So what we're seeing right now is some really, really unique blends. But we're also seeing that people have a strong demand for hyper-regional products. So our potato chips are growing all throughout the Southeast right now.
Wow. So what's the top state?
South Carolina's number one,
Right.
of course. Then Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee.
Really?
We're growing significantly in Florida, and I don't know how they heard of us, but Texas, they're buying a lot of our product over there.
So which one of these current flavors would actually help grow your particular business next?
I see the really southern indicative flavors. The spicy pimento cheese, mustard barbecue, fried pickle. Those are really attractive because they're familiar flavors, but they also have that nice southern twist. So we see a lot of people outside of the South really enjoying those.
Huh. And you mentioned obviously Florida, Tennessee, which I love, and some other places, Georgia and Texas. Which one of those flavors from one of those states would you actually bring here to South Carolina to introduce to us?
Which flavors from those states?
Yes, sir.
I feel like there's a strong Latin influence in Florida, so I'm sure they could have some interesting flavors down there that we could probably introduce over here. Carolina barbecue, Texas barbecue, they have their own unique flavors too, so we could definitely consider that as well. Maybe a little Tennessee whiskey too.
I don't drink, but I know that's very popular. But let me ask you this. How are you currently producing superior quality chips made with the finest ingredients that you just mentioned and do the application of technological advances that actually guarantee custom satisfaction?
Yeah, well, it was a strong learning curve when we started the company in 2016, making everything by hand stirring in the fryer, hand sealing each bag. And then we scaled up to a large facility where we bought a bunch of outdated used equipment, tried our hand in that, and realized we didn't have the finances or the technology to efficiently scale up. So we had to pivot, and we found a co-packer in New York. So we went up and met with them, and ironed out all the details, how to meet the exact specifications as if we were making it ourselves. They nailed it, and now it's as if we're out there making it. So they're sending the same quality chip as if we were making it back down here, but in large scale.
Large scale. And I wanted to ask you this earlier, but obviously you talked about those learning curves. What were those learning curves when you expanded to Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, Texas?
Identifying the exact markets that your product would be most successful in. We've had some failures, mostly successes. Some certain select grocery stores we thought would be a good fit. Turned out they weren't. So that, along with distribution, that's key. If you can't get it out efficiently, then that's a major hurdle.
Wow.
We've really kind of honed in what our target market is, which potato chips is wide-ranging from children to adults.
Yeah.
It's the number one snack food in America for a reason.
Wow. And so what resources do you have to keep up with this distribution?
Yeah, well, we partner with some great distributors, from small mom and pop distributors to multinational distribution. So we, like I said, finding the best outlets for our product, and then identifying those distributors.
Yes.
They've been great assets, and we've been working with them for about 6 years now.
And when I go down to my Publix all the time, I see your potato chips in there, so that's amazing.
Yep, that's a new account for us.
Wow.
Yeah. So all the Publix in South Carolina.
That's amazing. Wow. So what stores are working as far as the success with your chips, and which ones did turn out not to be a success?
Well, I don't think I want to say which accounts, but that was early on in our career at Lowcountry Kettle. So that really helped us learn the right avenues to sell our products.
Wow. What other avenues are you taking to sell your product?
We found we've had great success in the vending and micro market sector. So, they're great to work with. You'll see them in vending machines, you'll see them in business parks, you'll see them in hotels. Yeah. So those are fantastic. Along with, we've recently been working with convenience stores.
Wow.
So we're in the Parker's convenience stores, we're in End Market, and we're working on a couple new ones that I can't speak on yet, but it's looking good.
And with all of these partnerships, how is that helping you financially?
Oh, it's fantastic. With distribution, you take a hit, but it's ultimately still bringing in excellent revenue, along with getting on the shelves more accessible to more hands. And South Carolina is a great place for visitors. So tourists drive through those convenience stores, they get to see a new product, and that's a really great outlet for us.
And going back to that product and going back obviously to those shelves in the grocery store, which big bag flavor would be ideal right now for you all?
We look at our top performers, but sea salt doesn't necessarily stand out, although it speaks to the masses. I think our core southern flavors, the mustard barbecue, fried pickle, spicy tomato cheese, and the red wine vinegar and sea salt I think that would be a fantastic addition. So hopefully we can make that work.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. What will be the timeline for that?
If we do decide to execute that, it would probably be about 5 to 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And would you go the same route as far as going to stores such as Publix and other places?
Oh, of course. Grocery stores are really the main accounts that would be able to sell through those large format bags. Yeah. You don't want to go to a deli, get a sandwich, and a 8-ounce bag of potato chips. So, yeah.
Unless you say it's for labor, but that's hard to do to carry around. But let me ask you, how is Lowcountry Kettle the best producer of quality chips, not only locally, but throughout the nation as well, thereby aiding the boost up for the potato chip group and the potato chip industry nationwide?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's strong competition all throughout the country. You might think it's oversaturated, but really when you go down the grocery store aisle, it's really owned by about 3 companies. So we need to be creative on how to introduce our product to new markets. They don't make it easy, but if you're clever enough and persistent enough, you can definitely get your products out there.
And I hate to be redundant, but how exactly do you all stand up in this current saturated market?
Yeah, I mean, we're still a small fish in a very big pond. But fortunately, like I said, we're still the first chip company in South Carolina. So it does resonate throughout the area, throughout the Southeast. And, we give a interesting Southern, flair to a very common snack food. So people outside of the South, if they're interested in Southern flavors, they find our chip. We've shipped to every state in the country and about 10 countries outside of the U.S.
Wow. And so how many bags of chips have you sold in the past 6-7 months?
I would probably say close to 1 million bags.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, it's a game of pennies.
Right.
The margins are tight, but you need high volume. So, we're thrilled to calculate how many bags per year we're selling,
yes,
and we're only growing.
Where do you want that volume to go in the next 5 years?
I mean, we can produce as much as people want to buy. So, if we maintain, we're growing about 20% year over year, and that's only in the southeastern market. So there's still plenty of room for us to grow. So I'd like to see us go coast to coast, and I'd like to see those sales, 5 years from now, hit $10-15 million in revenue.
Wow. And what else is this revenue allowing you to do? Where do you want to expand with that revenue?
New product development. We haven't really invested any money into marketing. It's all been grassroots, word of mouth. So we've been very fortunate to grow at the rate we have been without investing any money in marketing. So we definitely like to invest more in that.
Sure.
Maybe hire some more staff.
Sure.
It's only me and my business partner Andrew, so we have plenty of room to grow.
Wow. And you talk about that growth. How has Lowcountry Kettle changed you personally?
Well, I've been fortunate enough to focus purely on this business. I think ever since I was 20, I've always worked 2 jobs. So now it gives me time to focus on growing a business, which is, peaks and valleys, but ultimately it's been very, very fulfilling. I've learned a ton. Although I went to business school, they don't train you until you get in the market on how to launch a product. So it's been an incredible learning experience. So I think I've grown significantly since then.
And obviously, people say that we're in inflation right now and some other economic issues going on right now. So what are those peaks and valleys for your company now?
Yeah, fortunately for us, like I said, it's a 2-man operation, so we haven't had to deal with any labor increases. Although some of our suppliers, they certainly have. Major competitors, Frito-Lay, PepsiCo, these are multinational corporations. So for us, the inflationary rates haven't really affected us or our product pricing. So we're able to manage our price point very, very efficiently. So while other companies continue to raise their price year over year, ours has been consistent for the past 3 years.
And you talk about those companies. Who are your competitors?
Well, Frito-Lay's, us, Deep River, Cape Cod. There's a surprising amount of potato chip companies in the North Midwest and Northeast. Pennsylvania is known as the potato capital of the U.S. That's where Utz has been founded. Fortunately for us, there's not a ton of competition in the kettle market. Flat chips are everywhere. There's certain regional competitors, but like I said, it's not oversaturated with direct competition.
Wow. And when you look at those chip flavors that you have here, which one of these flavors describes you?
I would go ahead and say Carolina Reaper. Strong, a little spicy, but well balanced.
Wow. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. That's really amazing. Well, Clayton Wynne with Lowcountry Kettle Potato Chips. Thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you very much. Glad to be back.
I appreciate it greatly.
Thank you.
Yeah.